so our lesson, we are now on, of course, first week ng quarter 2 lessons ng Practical Research 2. And we are going to learn on this quantitative research designs. Actually, you have already learned the qualitative research designs na-discuss ni Madam Emma. Ma'am Emma, sumalangit nawa ang kanyang kaluluwa. Nakakamiss din si Ma'am Emma. Actually, marami akong natutunan kay Ma'am Emma, especially sa research. Okay. So quantitative research designs is of course different design compared to the qualitative research designs. If we're going to talk about research design, they are defined, or this is defined as the logical and coherent overall strategy that the researcher uses to integrate all the components of the research study. That is defined by Barrot 2017, page 102. Yan. So mayroong page pa dyan. Ibig sabihin, ang ginamit nila is MLA, hindi siya APA. Okay. Research design. Yan. Ang halimbawa lang naman nito, pag sinabi nating research design, parang sa pag-design ng inyong kwarto, di ba? So for example, mayroon kayong bagong bahay and binigyan ka ng isang kwarto. Since kabago-bago pa yan, wala pang design. So ikaw ang maglalagay ng design. Ano kaya ang magandang kulay ng pintura ng wall ko? Of course, depende yan sa'yo. Kung babae ka siguro, kulay pink, no? Or kung kulay, yung mga medyo pambabaeng kulay. Pag lalaki ka, mga kulay blue and so on. And depende sa'yo, depende sa naisip mong design. Depende rin kung saan mo ilalagay yung cabinet na mas appealing dun sa'yo. Depende sa'yo kung anong gusto mo. Ganon din sa isang study. Ang isang study ay kailangan magkaroon ng design. Ano ba ang ibig sabihin ng design if you're talking about research design? Ito lang naman ang tinatawag nating strategy. No, ito ay isang strategy kung paano ninyo gagawin yung isang study na pagsasama-samahin natin lahat ng mga components ng study. Pero sa isang logical na paraan. May sistema. Okay? So that's research design. Ang tanong, sir, ano ang kailangan naming malaman o anong kailangan naming tignan para makapag-decide kami kung anong klaseng design ang gagamitin namin doon sa study? Okay? Ang kailangan lang po natin na tignan ay yung statement of the problem. Yung general problem, and of course, the specific research questions. Yun lang ang tignan ninyo. Pagkatingnan ninyo kung ano yung inyong statement of the problem, yung mga research questions na nilagay ninyo, malalaman nyo na agad kung ano yung design ng study ninyo. Okay? Sana mag-prepare kayo ng notebook ninyo at pakisulat yung mga sinasabi ko kasi napaka-importante yan. Okay? Paki-take down notes na lang. Again, paano natin, or saan natin titignan doon sa part ng inyong manuscript or doon sa study ninyo kung ano yung design na gagamitin. It depends on the statement of the problem, the general problem, and the research questions. Yun po ang tinitignan. Okay, of course, we have types of quantitative research design. Okay, so based on your module, kasi galing din sa module itong mga ito. Okay, based on your module, you are only given 5 designs or research designs. Specifically or particularly quantitative research designs. Okay, first we have the descriptive research. Second one, correlational research. The third one, the ex post facto or the causal comparative. And of course, the fourth one, the quasi-experimental. And the last one, the experimental research. Yan. So those are the basic basic types. Tignan na natin. Those are basic types of quantitative research design. Okay? Pakibasa nga, John Paul, yung definition. Kuning i-set up ko lang ito. Nandiyan ba si John Paul? John Paul?
Yes, sir.
Asahin mo lang muna ta. I-set up ko lang itong aking
Sir,
person.
wala yung ano. Sana, sir?
Ha?
Wala yung
Wala yung screen?
screen nyo. Po.
Hindi mo makita?
Po, sir.
As in, yung mga iba, nakikita nyo ba yung screen ko?
Yes, sir.
Baka, i-check mo nga, John Paul.
Wala naman, sir.
Meron na? Ano nangyari sa ano mo? Si John Paul lang ba ang hindi nakikita yung screen or meron pa? Sige. Ayusin mo muna John Paul, ha? I-ano mo yung screen niya. Irish Melendez. Pakibasa muna. Irish.
It is a design that is exploratory in nature. The purpose
Okay.
of descriptive research is basically to answer questions such as who, what,
Mm.
where, when, and how much. So this design is best used when the main object of the study is just to observe and report a certain phenomenon as it is happening.
Okay, thank you. Yan. Okay, so the first one is descriptive research design. Actually, descriptive research design has also types. No? May mga types din po ang descriptive research design. Hindi lang, siguro dun sa module ninyo, ginawa na nilang generic or generalized nila as descriptive research design. Okay, hindi na nila diniscuss yung mga types. Okay, so descriptive research design, pagka gumamit tayo ng descriptive research design, again, this design is exploratory in nature. Yan, exploratory. So all you have to do if your study is, of course, or ang aim ng study ninyo is just to explore your data, explore, of course, the a certain phenomenon or situation. All you have to use is descriptive research design. Yan. Okay, from the word descriptive, you're just going to describe. No, describe the situation, describe the phenomenon. Okay, of course, after gathering the data. Yan. Again, what is another purpose of this descriptive research design? Is basically to answer the questions. Ito. Yan. Ito lang naman. Sino yung mga respondents? Ano yung ilan yung or ano yung mga extent, what is the extent, what is the level, saan, and so on. Ganun lang. All you have to do is just to describe your data. Yan. Kaya nga descriptive. Okay? Wala muna ditong mga significant difference, walang inferences. Wala pang inferences. All you have to do is to, kung sa statistical tool ang pag-uusapan, ang i-compute lang natin yung mga frequency. Yes, for example, ang study natin ay about the performance, no? Performance of the junior high school students in the subject mathematics. Yan. So performance of the junior high school in subject mathematics. So pwedeng ang gawin mo lang is just to find kung ilang lalaki ba ang or should I say ilan sa mga lalaki ang medyo mababa ang grades, 'di ba? Ilan sa lalaki ang medyo mataas. Kasi pwedeng may lalaki at babaeng mga respondents kasi junior high school. Kung sa Parayo National High School 'yan. Yan. So, ibig sabihin, kapag ka descriptive research ang design mo, hindi mo pa masasagot yung tanong na sino ang mas magaling, lalaki ba o babae? No. Okay? Kasi all you have to do is to explore your data. Kung ano yung data na nasa kamay natin, yun lang ang ating i-analyze. No? Okay? Hindi tayo magkakaroon ng tinatawag na inference. Okay? So that's descriptive research design. Okay, halimbawa ng isang descriptive research design study, ito po, a survey of junior and senior high school teachers' perceptions and perceived skills of ICT integration in teaching and learning of mathematics. This study, nakuha ko ito sa Google Scholar. So kahit sa Google Scholar lang, pwede na po tayong makakuha ng mga napakaraming millions of or even I think baka billions pa of studies, no? Okay, so this study utilize or the design of the study is descriptive, no? Particularly, ito nga, cross-sectional survey research design. So descriptive siya. Descriptive yung ginamit na design. Bakit descriptive? Kasi ang aim lang nung study natin ay investigate lang kung ano yung perceptions tsaka perceived skills ng ating ICT, skills in ICT sa teaching and learning ng mathematics sa junior and senior high schools. Yan. So all you have to do is just to look for the perceptions tsaka perceived skills. Kaya descriptive lang. Yan, kung gagawa kayo ng chapter 2, ang kailangan nyo lang tignan doon sa mga studies is, of course, the title of the study, sino yung mga authors, yan, and the abstract. Tuturuan ko naman kayo kung paano gamitin yan, kung paano gumawa ng chapter 2. Yan. Turuan ko kayo dyan. Madali lang naman. Okay, next. Correlational research design. Correlational. So we have here correlational research design. The main goal of this design is to determine if variable increases or decreases as another variable increases or decreases. Yan. This design seeks to establish an association between variables. So association, it has two major purposes. Number one, letter A, to clarify the relationship between variables, and B, to predict the magnitude of the association. Okay? However, the extent of the purpose of correlational research depends on the scope and the limitation of the study. Yan. So correlational, pagka kailangan nating i-correlate or associate yung mga variables natin, okay? Kung gusto nating malaman kung yung isang variable, yung values ng isang variable ay kung nag-increase ba, kasabay din ba yun ng pag-increase ng another variable? Yan. So, our study will utilize correlational research design. Yan. So, correlation. Ito yung mga uh, sa statement of the problem ninyo, makikita nyo doon yung what is the relationship between this variable and the other variable, and so on. Or pwede ring, is there a significant relationship between this variable and to this variable? So you are going to use correlational research design. So this is the example, the correlation between students' vocabulary mastery and speaking ability. So dalawa po ang ating variables, vocabulary mastery tsaka speaking ability. So this first one, this is your first variable and this is your second variable. And we're going to correlate these two variables. Okay, so we need to have a correlational study. So correlational technique design ang ginamit or correlational research design. Parehas lang. Okay, next. Next one, we have the quasi and the true experimental designs. Yan, so quasi and true experimental designs. So the last two types of quantitative research designs are identifiable for the existence of treatment or intervention. So mayroon ng treatment or mayroong intervention applied to the current research study. Intervention or treatment pertains to controlling or manipulating the independent variable in an experiment. It is assumed that the changes in dependent variables were caused by the independent variable. Okay, so kapag yung study ninyo ay mayroong involved na treatment or may involved na intervention, okay, pwedeng quasi yan or true experimental. Yan. Okay, so there are also two groups of subjects, participants or respondents in the quasi-experimental experimental research. Okay, ito yung tinatawag na the treatment group. Ito yung it refers to the group subjected to the treatment or intervention. Another group is the what we call control group. Dalawang group natin, the treatment group o dun sa iba ang tawag dyan experimental group and the control group. So si treatment group, ito yung makaka-receive ng treatment or intervention. Sila yung makaka-receive ng intervention or treatment. Yung sa control group naman, sila yung hindi makaka-receive, no? Not subject to treatment. Hindi sila makaka-receive ng treatment or intervention. So again, pagka yung isang study ay may involved na treatment or intervention, okay? And of course, pagka may treatment or intervention, we will have the treatment group or the control group. So possible po na ang ating study ay quasi or true experimental designs. So paano ba tayo magkakaroon ng quasi or true experimental? Yan. So nauna yung ating, mamaya balikan natin si ex post facto. Magkakaroon tayo ng quasi-experimental designs. Yan. So basahin ko muna. The term means partly, partially, or almost pronounced as quasi. This research design aims to measure the causal relationship between variables. The effect measured is considered to have occurred during the conduct of the current study. Yan. The partially of quasi-experimental design comes from assigning subjects, participants, or respondents into their groups. The groups are known to be already established before the study. So may mga groups na, such as age, educational background, and nationality. Since the assignment of subjects, participants, or respondents are not randomly assigned into an experimental or control groups, the conclusion of results is limited. Okay? So, ganun po. Kapag ka daw sa isang study, okay, paano natin malalaman kung quasi? Quasi po kapag ka yung mga respondents natin ay hindi siya randomly assigned. Okay, hindi sila randomly assigned kung sino yung ilalagay dun sa experimental at sa control groups. So, ibig sabihin, bahala si researcher kung sino yung ilalagay niya sa experimental. Experimental, ito yung treatment group, no? Parehas lang. At kung sino ang ilalagay niya sa control groups. So, nakadepende kay researcher. So, not randomly assigned yung pagbibigay o paglalagay kung sino yung experimental at kung sino yung kasama sa control groups. So that's quasi. Again, walang randomization. No randomization, no. May treatment randomization. May treatment tayo kasi may treatment group o kaya experimental group and meron ding tinatawag na control group pero walang randomization. That's quasi-experimental design. Okay? Example po nito, enhancing the student's pronunciation using shadowing technique at senior high school students. Ang ating treatment dito, ito, shadowing. Ito yung treatment or intervention. So this is, term ko na lang as intervention or treatment, no? Okay, ito yung intervention. And of course, magkakaroon ng experimental group at of course, control group. Experimental, yan. Experimental group, sila yung makaka-receive nung shadowing technique. I-apply sa kanila yung shadowing technique. Yung control group, hindi i-apply sa kanila yung shadowing technique. Okay? Yan. Sir, paano naging quasi? Kasi nga, depende kay researcher kung sino yung mga i-assign niya sa experimental group at kung sino yung i-assign niya sa control group. Kaya siya naging quasi. Next, through experimental research design naman. This design is based on scientific method called experiment with a procedure of gathering data under a controlled, parehas lang naman sila kanina sa quasi, and manipulated environment. It is also known as true experimental design since it applies treatment and manipulation more extensively compared to quasi experimental design. Why? Bakit more extensive? Kasi nga, mayroon na tayong random assignments of subjects or participants. Mayroon na tayong randomization. Yan, so randomize na. Hindi nakadepende kay researcher kung sino yung i-assign niya as experimental, i-assign niya dun sa experimental group, at kung sino yung i-assign niya dun sa control group. Kasi magkakaroon tayo ng randomization. Okay? So pwedeng gumamit ka ng simple random sampling, yung mga tinuro ko sa statistics and probability. Yan. Okay, so again, in the true experimental research design, your study utilize, of course, first one, my intervention or treatment. Okay, my control group, my experimental group, and at the same time, of course, mayroong randomization. Randomization. Yan. So you have randomization. So that's true experimental research design. So balikan natin si ex post facto. Ex post facto design. If the objective of the study is to measure a cause from pre-existing effects, then ex post facto research design is more appropriate to use. In this design, the researcher has no control over the variables. Unlike dun sa kanina, dun sa quasi tsaka true experimental, kinokontrol nung researcher yung mga variables. Kasi nga may control group tsaka may experimental group. Dito hindi. Thus one cannot conclude that the changes measured happen during the actual conduct of the study. So dito sa ex post facto design, aalamin natin yung effect ng isang variable dun sa another variable, pero tapos na yung pagkandak ng study natin ay or nagawa na or nangyari na yung isang phenomenon. Just for example, ano ba yung impact? What is the impact of sabihin nating tardiness, no? Impact of tardiness in the academic academic performance of the students. So impact of tardiness in the academic performance of the students. So titignan natin kung ano yung effect nitong tardiness sa academic performance ng isang estudyante, no? Okay? So pwedeng ang gawin natin dito is to compare the academic performance ng mga estudyante na yun nga parating late at yung isa naman ay yung mga estudyante na hindi parating late. I-compare natin yung kanilang academic performance. Okay? Kung sakali man na mas mataas yung academic performance ng mga hindi late or parating uh, nauuna sa klase, so mayroon talagang impact yung tardiness sa academic performance. Okay? Sir, anong pagkakaiba niyan dun sa kanina? Bakit sir nagkaroon kayo ng dalawang groups? Ang pagkakaiba ng class sa ex post facto design, yung pag-gather mo ng data ay tapos na sa ex post facto design. Anong ibig kong sabihin sa tapos na? Kasi tapos na kasi nga na-record na yung mga attendance, nalaman mo na kung sino yung mga late dumarating using class record, makikita natin doon. Yung sa grades naman, makikita doon sa class record din ng teacher. So tapos na yung data gathering. Unlike doon sa experimental sa quasi kanina, yung pag-gather ng data ay gagawin mo pa lang. Kasi ikaw mismong researcher ang nandoon para i-observe at tignan yung development nung of course nung mga inobserbahan mong result. Yan, that's ex post facto design. Okay, so mayroon tayong activity dito. You can open your mic and of course your camera. Pwede niyo nang i-open yung camera niyo and your mic. Okay, mayroon ba kayong mga questions? Hello? Diyan pa ba kayo?
No, sir.
Hello? Justin? Justin?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Anong pagkakaiba Justin ng ng okay lang. Hindi naman to ano lang tinatanong ko lang para ah experimental, quasi tsaka true experimental.
Hindi ko alam, sir.
Hindi mo alam. Sige, okay lang, okay lang. Kung sino ang nakakaalam, what is the difference between quasi and true experimental? Si John Paul. Hmm. Quasi and true experimental.
Sir, yung ano ata po, yung
Sige.
quasi-true experimental is randomly pinipili po yung ano, yung mga
Yung
nag-a-answer po
okay,
ng
thank you. Very good, very good. Correct. Sa true experimental, mayroong randomization. Ibig sabihin, randomly yung pag-a-assign kung sino yung i-assign sa experimental group at kung sino yung i-assign sa control group. No, okay? Pakilagay nga sa chat box ninyo yung sagot doon sa tanong ko, no? Yan. Ano yung kailangan nating tignan para or ano yung kailangang present doon sa isang study para masabi natin that we're going to use either quasi or true experimental? Pakilagay na lang sa chat box. Ano yung kailangang present doon sa study para masabi natin that uh, the design of the study can be quasi or true experimental. Mm. Pakilagay na lang sa chat box. Paki-open nga yung mga camera ninyo kasi hindi pa pala tayo nag-picture, screenshot. Diyan, Paul. Nasa yung mga iba, wala na yung iba. Walang signal. Ano yung present? Ano yung kailangang present doon sa isang study para masabi natin na pwedeng quasi or true experimental yung isang study? Yung design pala. Paki-open yung camera, hindi pa ako nakakapag-screenshot. Paki-open yung camera nyo. Diyan, Paul, paki-open. Yan. Mawawala yung camera ni Jan Paul. Yan. Nawala. Sinong nawala? Nawala si ano?
Gilis po.
Si Mark Lister. Hindi, bumalik na si Jelis.
Sige po.
Si Mark Lister. Okay, ano yung kailangang present? Okay, according to John Paul, participants or respondents. Ano yung kailangang present para masabi natin na either quasi or true experimental yung isang design ng isang study? Yan yung kailangang present ang it starts with the letter I.
Interventions.
Intervention. Yun. Intervention or treatment.
Treatment.
Yan. Sa social science, ang term na ginagamit is intervention or kaya sa education. Pagka sa biology, sa medical, yung paggawa ng isang medicines, mga bakuna, that's treatment. That's their term. Pero pagka sa education, sa social sciences, ang term natin is intervention. Okay? We're good for that. Yan. So, ito, sabihin nyo sa akin kung anong design ang gagamitin, no? And bakit? May bakit pa. Okay, so we have, present ko ulit. Yan. Actually, ito yung activity nyo din sa module ninyo. Okay, what do you think? What is the design that we are going to use? Anyone? 5 lang yun eh. Descriptive, correlational, uh, ex post facto, quasi, and yung experimental kasi, that's true experimental. Ang nilagay lang pero sa inyo, experimental. That's true experimental. So 5. What do you think? Anyone? Mm. Pagka descriptive, all you have to do is to, parang survey lang. Survey lang tayo kung descriptive. No. Pagka correlational naman, you're going to correlate variables. Pwedeng i-check nyo yung relationship ng dalawang variables. Kung tumataas ba yung isa, ay tumataas din ba yung isa, or kabaliktaran, o wala naman silang relationship sa isa't isa. Kapag ka, kapag ka ex post facto naman, you're just going to uh, test whether a certain variable has an impact or effect no, on a certain variable. Okay? Pero yung data natin na kukunin natin ay mayroon na, nag-gather na natin. Nag-gather na. Tapos na ika nga. Unlike sa experimental or quasi tsaka true experimental na kukunin mo pa lang yung data. What do you think? Si Flor, what do you think, Flor?
Correlational po, sir.
Very good. It's correlational, no? Correlational. Gusto mo explain? Bakit correlational?
Para po ma-clarify yung relationship ng dalawang po, sir, variable.
Okay, very good. Yan, yun lang. Kung meron ba talagang relationship, no? Kumbaga, yung academic stressors ba ay pwede nating i-associate sa learning preferences ng mga senior high school students. Yung mga ganun lang. Okay, thank you for that. That's correlational. Next. Mag-guess lang kayo, ano kaya yan? Reading electronic learning materials as support for vocabulary of grade 1 pupils. Reading electronic learning materials as a support for vocabulary of grade 1 pupils. Ano kaya yan? Reading electronic learning materials. What do you think? That is? So, reading electronic learning materials. Pag sinabi nating electronic learning materials, yung mga sa cellphone, mga e-books, yung mga nababasa sa cellphones kasi nga electronic. Yan ba daw ay magiging support for vocabulary of grade 1 pupils? Ano kaya? As a support. Di ba pero sabi ko dati sa inyo kanina, sir, depende po kung ano yung statement of the problem niyan. Depende po kung ano yung mga research questions na nakapaloob dun sa study na yan. Yes, that's true. That's true. Depende sa statement of the problem. Kaya kanina, ito, syempre, ilalagay natin sa statement of the problem na what is the relationship between the academic stressors and the learning preferences. So, talagang correlation yan. How about this one? Mm. So, pwedeng descriptive research kasi aalamin mo lang, magsa-survey ka lang kung talagang sinusuportahan ba talaga niyang reading electronic learning materials yung mga vocabulary ng grade 1 pupils. Kung ang after mo lang ay perception ng mga teachers. So, mag-survey ka lang. Okay? Magsa-survey lang. Next, impact of the implementation of COVID-19. Health protocols in supermarkets on consumer behaviors. What do you think? Impact. Pagka may impact, parang may cause and effect na yan.
Ano,
Yes,
sir?
yes. Jilis.
Post facto po.
Host factor. Sige, sige. Kaya ma-explain? Pwede explain mo, Jilis? Mahina atang signal ni Jilis.
Naka-off po yung mic niya, sir.
Sige.
Hindi ko
Ah,
lang kasi. Salita ko ng salita
pala.
na ako.
Sige, sige, sige.
Sir, ano po kasi,
Ah,
it seeks whether the health protocols
mm
have an impact on consumer behaviors po.
On consumer behaviors. Correct. So, we can use ex post facto. Tama? Okay, so ibig sabihin, nakadepende na rin. Yan nga, correct. So, we can use ex post facto because we are going to test whether the COVID-19 health protocols has an impact, no, on the consumer behaviors. So ito yung ating ito. Implementation of COVID-19 health protocols in supermarkets. This is our variable. This is one of our variable. And we can call this as our independent variable. No, independent variable. Is this independent variable, which is the implementation of COVID-19 health protocols in supermarkets, has an effect or impact on our consumers' behavior? And our consumers' behavior will be our dependent variable. Meron bang impact yan dun sa ating consumers' behavior? Dahil ba dun sa protocols na ina-implement, marami ba ang medyo, syempre, takot lumabas, yung mga consumer, hindi sila masyadong bumibili. Yan, meron bang impact dyan? Of course, uh, tama na we are going to use the ex post facto design. Kasi we can analyze the situation after gathering some data. So may data na tayo. And then itetest lang natin kung ano yung impact or mayroon bang impact yan doon sa consumers behavior. Correct. And mas malinaw sa atin kung anong design ang gagamitin, kung nalagyan natin yan, malalagyan natin ng statement of the problem. Very good, Julius. Next, how about this one? Effects of morning exercise on the health anxiety level of senior citizens. Sino kaya? Effects of morning exercise on the health anxiety level of senior citizens. Parang mayroon tayong ano diyan. Ito morning exercise and the health anxiety level. Sino yung participant? Senior citizens. Ito yung independent mo, independent. Actually, Isang New Year's resolution ko ay mag-exercise, mag-jogging every morning kahit ilang minutes lang. Medyo maganda naman talaga sa pakiramdam pagka nag-exercise tayo every morning. Okay, what do you think? This time, tanongin ko sino ba nandyan? Si, sino pang hindi ko pa naririnig? Si Flerida,
Descriptive, sir.
descriptive. Yan. Okay, so the answer of Flerida is descriptive. Paano siya magiging descriptive, Flerida?
Kasi, sir, kukuha ka ng survey kung may effect ba yung
Mm.
morning exercise sa health anxiety level ng senior citizen.
Okay, magkakanda ka ng survey. Yan. So if that's is your the content of your statement of the problem, then we can have that as survey, no? Tama, Flerida?
Yes, sir.
Flerida, okay. Yan. So according to Flerida, that's a descriptive research because gusto niya lang mag-survey on that. Pero may mas ano pa diyan, mas magandang study or design. Ano kaya? Okay? So effects of morning exercise. So morning exercise will be your uh, treatment, no? Yan. Okay? Morning exercise will become your treatment. And health anxiety level. This will be your at actually yung treatment ninyo, ito na rin yung IV ninyo, independent variable. Ang health anxiety level natin is our dependent variable. Okay? So since mayroon tayong treatment, so it's either quasi quasi or true experimental. Okay? Yan. So nakadepende na lang kung ano yung gagawin ng researcher. Kung gagawin niya ay siya nang bahala na mag-assign ng mga senior citizens doon sa experimental group at siya na rin ang bahala mag-assign doon sa control group, then we will have a quasi. No. Pero pag nag-randomize siya ng pag-assign doon sa mga experimental and control group, then that's true experimental. Yan. So ganun po 'yon. So we can have quasi or we can have a true experimental. Yan, so ganun lang. So you do you have some questions on the different designs? Actually, ang next na lesson natin ay sampling procedure and the sample. Pero na-topic na natin 'yan sa statistics. So wala na tayong problema diyan. All you have to do is to read or study your module para ma-refresh kayo dun sa mga sampling procedures and dun sa sample.